Hello, Jim.
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you for coming on camera.
Pleasure.
So, you're doing the Graduate Certificate of Yoga Therapy at Adore Yoga. Can you tell us how you came to decide to study yoga therapy?
Okay. So I started yoga in my early 50s because I had a lot of injuries, back injuries, divorced, all this stress in my life, and I had actually bulging discs, and somebody recommended I'd go and try yoga. And so from that, I went to my first yoga class, and after that, I felt this is like something I need in my life. And I went through a practice after that of a very strong practice, and eventually went and got teacher training. Did teacher training with in India, then with Baron Baptiste, so hot power yoga, then with Easter yoga. But I started to realise the benefits that had come to me through yoga, but also that this super strong male type practice I was doing wasn't good for me, and wasn't good for the people I was starting to teach yoga to either. And I wanted to bring yoga into the community to people who don't normally come and don't normally practice yoga, either for mental health or physical reasons, or because they're a guy and they feel out of place and it doesn't work for them. So, and I saw yoga therapy as a way to cement and have something behind me, some accreditation and some real skills, instead of just thinking I knew what was right, to be able to teach and help people who could benefit.
And who are those people who can benefit? Are there particular groups of people that you're really focusing your teaching on yoga therapy work on?
So I have a focus on mental health in my teaching. I have a son who's an ex-veteran who has mental health issues, and lots of friends through his group and the cohort that I work with who's a veteran from Afghanistan. And so I've started to focus on that sort of stuff. I'm just drawn to it. And as part of that, I'm also teaching at a Toronto private hospital, a mental health ward there, Flourish Australia, which is a mental health and wellbeing centre. And it just seems to be where I'm falling into, and it's just resonating with me. And I know it can help, because it's helped me because of all the issues I had. But it can help deeper for those people too.
So what have you found useful about training in yoga therapy at Adore Yoga? What's been helpful, or how has it changed the way you work with your students?
I don't know where to start, right? And not just for the students, but also for me, the way I practice has made a huge difference, you know. All the stuff I've been taught, even though I think may not be relevant, it seems to be. And it's slowly just infused itself into the way I teach, just without even trying to bring it in. Even the more general classes I teach, all the elements I bring have just, from the training, have just come into practice. And my students will start saying that. They're saying when I have to cancel a class because I have to go teach, they're saying, yes, we're so happy, you know, this is, we're getting from this, even in the general classes. So it's just working, and I can see it working, and so can they.
What are the differences that you've noticed in your students, or that your students are noticing? How is it different?
Well, some of the students I've actually lost because they wanted to be like this strong, powerful, driven thing, and they weren't ready. It's not the right time for them to come to what I'm teaching now, right? But what's happening, I've collected many more students, and a great variation of students, from middle-aged to younger to older people to people with, and they just seem to be attracted to this because they realise it's good for them. I've had people come to me who I'm now teaching, or have taught, who have said, I've been told I can't do yoga. Like a bigger lady, for instance, comes to mind. And she said, you know, I was told I'm too big, you know, and I can't get down the floor. It's actually happened to me. And I said, well, there's a chair. Let's do it in a chair. And she was so happy, right? And I've had people out of the hospital who come now to a more general yoga class that I teach, that I've taught in the hospital, who have got anxiety and depression in their life. And for me, that's such a win that they transgressed from having to be in that closed-in space in a hospital and not able to associate with the community, and now they're getting into more community-type classes.
So what advice would you give to a yoga teacher who's thinking of studying yoga therapy?
Do it. That's a great idea. But, you know, it's not easy, right? There's a lot of work to go into it, like, and you've really got to commit to do it. But it can change how you teach. It can change the people you teach, and you'll make a difference. There's an opportunity here to make a difference. If you've got compassion for people and you want to see them healed, and if you want to see people, well, healed is not the right word, but if you want to give them the tools to be able to help themselves, this is the place to come. Come and do this. And especially if you're in the local community and you see all these folks and you say, why can't they get the benefits that I've got? Right? Come here, get some training, the right kind of training, and teach those people. Change their lives.
Jim, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.